How's it going, everyone? Cam the Movie Man here. I'm super excited to be back at you with another really fun interview. But before I announce my special guest, I'm just going to run through a few quick reminders. The 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, it's back in theaters. I think it'll be in theaters until about May 1st. So get your tickets now for that. ICCC Nashville is coming up in just a few weeks, May 16th through the 18th. So there's going to be tons of awesome guests and celebrities there. There's going to be a really fun reunion with the cast of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. So it's going to be a super fun time. If you haven't got your tickets yet and you're planning on going, head over to their website, use my code MovieMan10 for a 10% discount. So hope to see you there. Andor Season 2, the 3-episode premiere, is streaming now on Disney Plus. So if you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. And we'll be talking a little bit about that today. So without further ado, I'd like to announce my special guest, Josiah. Welcome.
Hello, folks. Hello.
Anything new with you? What's going on?
With me, well, I'm really excited for one, the 20th anniversary. I was 8 years old when that came out. I recently just turned 28, so it's definitely gonna hit different this time around. And you probably found my Instagram story already, Cameron, that I have my whole cosplay all ready to go. And yes, I'm going all out for this one because hey, it's a once in a lifetime if you think about it, especially if it's been like nearly 2 decades. I just, I just can't miss the opportunity, man. And I'm gonna bring my lightsaber with me too as well. So I'm really excited for that.
If you have the chance to see a Star Wars movie in a theater, you don't want to pass it up. That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping I can get my hands on one of those awesome, like Darth Vader helmet popcorn buckets that like make sounds and stuff. So I hope they're not all sold out by the time I
Sold
get
out.
there.
I was thinking about getting one of those items too as well, but it's like those things are just gonna be a hit or miss with me. So it's like, okay, do I really like? I don't know how much they're going to cost too. So it's like, that's another thing too. Cause with whole marketing and everything else, especially new movies like this, I want to get it so badly. Cause I know back then when they had one of those sippy cups and all that, those were cheap. So I'm just like intrigued at how much they're going to cost this time around. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, like Cinemark's got that Darth Vader helmet, like sippy cup. It's like $30 or something. I'm like,
Oh no.
I would
See,
love that. Is it
nah.
worth $30? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, nah, I'm already had to spend like $15 on a ticket. Now you want me to spend $15 more on something to sip on. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, so this past weekend was Star Wars Celebration, and we had some pretty big announcements. Are there any that you're the most excited for, or any that stood out to you the most?
Mall, the Mall series, 100%. With Sam Witwer, because he's basically how he described himself at the celebration. He's like a holocron of Star Wars. While the other guy, I think it was a host, I forgot his name. I think his name was Anthony. He was telling he's like the Star Wars encyclopedia. So it's really awesome that Sam Witwer is coming back again as Maul as well, and he's best known for Star Killer. Which, if you ask me, between Maul or Star Killer, he's always going to be Star Killer to me. Because he's just a legendary voice of that. But no, definitely with the Maul series, just based off what I'm guessing on the timeline, I think it was told that it takes place a little bit after the season 7 of the Clone Wars, like a little bit afterwards when he took that ship and everything else. So I'm very intrigued of all that happened between that and then the Rebels as well, which I'm just now, so late in the game, getting into that series. It's probably just the animation that just threw me off, basically, because it's not like the Clone Wars type. It was a little bit different.
Yeah, it's definitely a shock to go from Clone Wars to Rebels because the animation is just so different. It took me a little while to get into that show. Like, just get past like the first season, like season 2 onward, like it gets a lot better.
And that's why it's always one of these build-ups. Is like it usually be like the boring part. I'm like, oh my God. And it's just like that with Andor season 2, which I know we're going to discuss shortly. But but just seeing Maul coming back, I'm very intrigued with what happened to him between that time frame as well. So that's what makes it more intriguing when they create stories, they fill in this gap, and it's like, okay, what happened? So I'm really at the edge of my seats. There were some leaks of the trailer, which I thought the trailer was already released, but some of those things we've been seeing on the social media and everything, those are just leaks that's not been shown yet to public, which I'm pretty sure they're going to show it sometime this year. They have to now, since it's already out in the open. But it's like, I'm really excited to as well. And the animation too, how Maul look. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, this is like the Bad Batch, but type of animation, but at another level. I was like, whoa, Yeah, so I would say that one is like my takeaway for me. If it's movies, I'm intrigued of Starfighter, and I think if you ask me, there's a lot of people in the Star Wars fan base who love Starfighters. You see a lot of them in their Tie Fighter suits or Starfighter suits, these Rebel troopers and everything else. It gives them that type of storytelling. I just like in general how Star Wars is when it comes to telling stories. Because if you really think about it, Cameron, there's multiple types, and I came up with three, and I think some may agree with me on this one. But like, if you really think about it, you have three type of storytellings. You have Jedi, which you can say the Acolyte. I don't like the show, but you have like the Acolyte, the Ahsoka show, the Obi-Wan show, or maybe Star Wars prequels. That's Jedi storytelling. Then you have a rebellion or rebels type storytelling, which you have the rebels, or you may have maybe I could throw in the Bad Batch in basically because they're basically part of rebellion in the sense that, and Andor as well as one of them too. Yeah, and the show the rebels, and then the third one is Bounty Hunter, which that heavily focused on Boba Fett. So like the Book of Boba Fett series or the Mandalorian as well within that scope. So it's like it's always these three different types of storytellings, and I'm glad that we're getting something different that maybe not be just Jedi, because it seems like that's where a lot of controversy is at. So that's why them showing about the Starfighter story, I think it's gonna be awesome.
What do you think about Ryan Gosling being in Star Wars? Is that something you're bothered with? Are you cool with
You know,
it?
I can't.
You know,
I really can't much comment on that because to be honest with you, because I know he's been in other movies, but I know a lot of people probably just now knowing him from the Barbie movie that came out like a year or so ago, and I have not even seen it. I have not seen the Barbie movie, like I haven't. So when everybody heard Ryan Gosling, the first thing that came up was just Barbie. I was like, oh, because he was in that one. So I was like, saying him, I can't really much judge of that. I was like, okay, I can see that happening. But the Mandalorian and
that looks
Grogu movie, I will say, it will have to be the most intriguing one, only because Sigourney Weaver is coming back to sci-fi. So seeing her in Star Wars after, she's very iconic
right.
for aliens is like, whoa, okay, this is getting good. So we're excited for that.
Yeah, the Mandalorian Grogu. I'm super excited. Like I saw someone had posted, a snippet of whatever trailer footage they showed at Celebration. It was like a scene where he's taking out a bunch of snow troopers, and like, yeah, that got me more pumped for that movie. And then another question that I actually just came up with in relation to the Maul series. Somewhere I saw a complaint about Lucasfilm seems to kind of be stuck in the Clone Wars era because we
Mhm.
got Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire shows, we got the Clone Wars, we got Bad Batch, Tales of the Underworld. How do you feel about like another show being in, like, are you kind of sick of the Clone Wars era? Do you want to see different era explored, or what do you think about that?
Honestly, it's almost a same relation to a question that somebody asked me a while back about should we like move on from the Skywalker saga era? Like we can move on from that and go to like the Rey era, like the whole way after the rise of Skywalker and everything else. I feel like in a sense of there's so much stories to tell during the Clone Wars era. I don't think people are ready yet to go jump right into what happens after the rise of Skywalker as well. Itself, I don't think people are done with the Skywalker saga, if you ask me, because there's so many like legacy characters that appeared in this Disney era of Star Wars, where some of their characters are really like downgraded, and it's like the storyline is just bastardized as well, and people feel that they need some sort of redemption to continue with the story. If you kind of think about it, so I just don't think, and I'm one of those two as well. It's just like the Skywalker saga and just the Clone Wars, because they tie both together. I don't think people at all are just ready just to leave that just yet. I think there's still more stories to tell, and I think that's what keeps Star Wars alive. People are all for new storytelling stuff, but it's just when it's mingling with legacy characters, though, that's where people felt they were short on, and hopefully they can find redemption in that with these more stories.
And then with the kind of Tales like anthology series, are there any kind of stories that you would like to see them explore?
I surprisingly, because I think it's like is no brainer that I think some people will say to this answer that well we probably already have something like that, Josiah. We have the Clone Wars and everything else, but personally with me, and people will tell me that is Captain Rex, because I mean we know him that he's just Captain Rex in the Clone Wars, and that's just that. But what's really the backstory behind him? And I think that's just going to be really intriguing as well, because we already know what the other clones and how they got to where they're at. But what about Captain Rex? Because he was just a created character right there and then. And it's like, boom. Like, if we already can do Ahsoka, which if you watch Tales of the Jedi, they showed a little bit of backstory of Ahsoka, how she became to be. I wish they could have done so with Captain Rex as well. And because, the clones, they all majority of them came from Camino and grow from there. And everybody went through the same phase. But it's like Captain Rex is like such a unique character and it's such a popular clone in the Star Wars era. I'd be very intrigued if they do something like that.
So Andor season 2, did you watch all 3 episodes of season 2?
No, absolutely 100%. I like it, but I think, how do I put it this way? Because I think episode 3, I'll get to that part a little bit last, because I think most people find that a little controversial than the other two. But I felt like what I was in the first season. It's just boring and long, man. It's just so long to build up. Like, it'd be one part of a dialogue scene that I didn't really much understand, and then the next part's like a dancing scene. I'm like, wait, what? What just happened? It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't quite get it. So I may have to do some research of a discussion with Mon Moth has with the other guy, and she decided to start drinking, dance on the floor, because I was really lost on that dialogue. I was like, wait, what? What happened? And then she just started dancing. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. But it's like, yeah, I think it's a little jumpy just in that moment. And he was, let me see. And Andor, he was stuck on the island or wherever he was at for like 2 episodes, basically. And he didn't really do much of anything. He was just in handcuffs, So it was like, oh my God, like if we really just drag on. So basically, he was in the island of a whole bunch of nothing, if you kind of think about it.
Yeah.
And it's
That
like,
I think that is my main complaint with Andor, is that it tends to linger on certain scenes or situations for, like, way too long.
mhm.
Like, the wedding scene. The whole wedding really need to be dragged out to 3 episodes. Like, it could have been done in,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
1. And, yeah, Andor, he was just stuck on that planet with a bunch of idiots for 2, 3 episodes. That didn't really result in anything. Like, he coulda just jumped back in his ship and flown away. But so that was kinda my complaint. Like, so far, I mean, the first episode started off great, with him stealing the ship. Honestly, of the 3 episodes, that was probably the best part. The rest kinda lost me, which is a shame, because I was, after having watched the trailer for this season, like, it got me way more hype for it
Yeah.
than I ever was for season 1, but so far, kinda disappointing me a bit.
But you know what, though? Honestly, I think it's going to rebound like next week or something like that as it gets closer to the end of the show itself. Because, I mean, we all know what happens after this season. It's Rogue One, technically. So it's just a massive buildup, I will say, just for the first 3 episodes. And a lot of people came to quick to judge the first 3 days. Oh, this is the worst Andor I've seen. I said, well, hold on. There's like 6, 7 more episodes and whatnot. Well, let's just literally give it more time. Like I said, it's gonna be rebound more next week. I will say this though, but it was like the very first episode, not even close to 10 minutes. It was a conversation that he had with that girl, basically, who was helping him out to like get one of the ships and all that. And just the discussion she had with him, I was actually in tears though, and I was actually almost like crying a little bit, only because it was such a powerful moment for me. And I don't think people understand like the deeper meaning of where casting was coming from when it comes about fighting and survival and everything else, And a lot of things that he said, I can relate that personally in my life, and just the time that we're living in as well. It's really impactful as well. So it was like, wow, I was like, and out of all the Star Wars shows or something like that, outside of like nostalgia, like you're so happy, it fills your childhood that you see Harry and Ewan coming back on screen together in Obi-Wan series. But the message itself from that very first scene of Andor, though, of season 2, that got me emotional as well. So it's just like,
Yeah.
he was just encouraging her, is that, hey, look, we're in this together. It's worth the sacrifice. We're fighting against the Empire as well. And it's just like, there was a lot of things he said. I wish I have the exact words, but it's like there's deeper meaning to it that I can relate personally, and even back in history as well. One that I do want to bring out, though, the one that kind of threw me off, which I can understand why other people said it. I'm like in the middle, like mixed feelings around it. Like, is this meant to be told or is it not meant to be told? And it was a scene of, it was like an attempted rape, I would say, type scene. with
Yeah.
Bix. I think that one's like, there's some mixed feelings around it. I can't just say, well, this should not be in it and or whatnot, because who am I to say? They may, I think they had an intended purpose why they added that scene to reach out to survivors, excuse me, of rape or anything that nature, you know. It was not really much of a rape scene, honestly. It's just really like a sexual harassment. But it was just my whole thing was, it's just like, well, it's Star Wars, man. Like, we all know the Empire is bad. Do we need something like that? Out of all the Star Wars shows and movies that we saw, it went that close to like rated M for mature, how people would call it, or rated R type thing. I'm like, oh, okay, then they really
Yeah,
going there with
that
this
that caught me off guard. I was kind of surprised at that whole thing. I was like, "Wow, this really is not a show kids should be watching." Probably, it's very much a Star Wars for adults. Yeah, that kind
And I
of
gotta be
caught me
careful
off guard.
saying this critique though, because people may like either judge me the wrong way or take the wrong ways when I'm saying, because one guy I was one of my friends I was talking to, right? Okay, he was telling me that, oh, well, I don't think it's a man place to judge whether that scene that should be added in or not. I was like, wait, hold up. First of all, I don't want you like look at me or talk to me like I'm some sort of misogynist or anything like that, you know. But it's just we're just talking about the story itself, because I mean, we know the Empire is bad. It's just the matter is that what purpose will it bring though? Like what fruit that it will actually bring into that scene, talking about Star Wars itself, or just with that show. But who knows? It may attract these type of audiences as well. That's so in love with the show as well. So who am I to say? But it's like at the same time though, I'm like not either they should not add it or they should add it. I'm just like I'm in the middle. So
Yeah, hopefully it picks up a bit because I think that was the same problem with the first season. Like, it was just pacing was just way too slow. Kind of doing the same thing in this season. So, like, I hope they kind of move on from that and kind of let things pick up a bit. How do you feel about this new format they're kind of doing with releasing 3 episodes at a time? Because I've kind of gotten over the whole 1 episode a week format. How do you feel about them doing multiple episodes at a time?
I like it. I really do, because it's basically what they're giving us is like a movie, in a sense, just in one day. So it's like, you know how episode 1, 2, and 3. So they're giving us like a whole arc story of just that 1 hour watch. At some point, when all this is finished, somebody's gonna like go on YouTube and they're just gonna put all these episodes together. It's gonna be like a 3 or 4 hour movie or something like that, you know. But hey, and I like it, you know, because I think they have to do that, just really keep us engaged, you know. And just like
Yeah.
with the Skeleton Crew, for example, right? How they did like a 2 episode premiere, but some of these episodes end up being like 25 or like maybe like 30 something minutes. I was like, what the hell? I say,
I
why is
know.
it short?
I think Skeleton Crew probably could have benefited a bit more from kind of at least two 2 episodes, especially if they're so short, like 20, 25 minutes, nothing happens in it. Like, I think it needed like another episode after. Let's kind of get to know you a little bit. I always enjoy getting to know my fellow Star Wars fans in the Star Wars community. Just do a quick tell me about yourself, how you got into Star Wars.
Yeah, I could definitely be brief on it. I've been a Star Wars fan. I want to say 3, but I'm just gonna say bet to say 4. It was like, yeah, about 2000, 2001. Within that time, my brother's the one that got me into Star Wars. And the very first episode we watched, we popped this VHS in, the Phantom Menace of Star Wars. So we watched that, and I will say one of the best things that I really got hooked up on when I watched the Phantom Menace was the Duel of Fates, when Qui-Gon Jinn and then Obi-Wan and then Darth Maul as well, when they were all like fighting. And it's just that scene alone is what really got me engaged and love watching Star Wars. I remember when I was like 4, I would say at least maybe 3 or 4. Either those years, I was wearing my mom's pink bathrobe and pretend I was like a Jedi basically, and had like a whole plastic lightsaber. So you know, one of those things you probably saw at Walmart. It's like a big old red button that you had to hold it and you had to swing it hard for it to pop out, and you could even like
Yeah.
close it with your hands. You had to close it right onto the floor as well. So I definitely got hooked up on that. And when episode 2 came out, my brother, I was hoping he's going to take me to see Attack of the Clones. And I was only 5 years old at the time. And my brother was like, I think he was like 14 or 15. But I don't think he wanted to watch over me because I was like to run around and this and that. I was like just a crazy toddler, and my parents instead dragged me to go see the first Spider-Man movie because they basically came out the same weekend. Spider-Man and Star Wars, they came out the same month. And literally seeing Spider-Man, and next door, my brother went to go see Star Wars Attack of the Clones, which it would have been potentially my very first Star Wars movie. But excuse me. But next thing you know, saw Revenge of the Sith when I was 8 years old. Man, it's just gonna hit different this time around when you're gonna go see it in theaters. I remember the whole aisle when you go to Walmart, and even during Attack of the Clones at that time, it'd be a whole aisle of just toys and everything else, action figures, lightsabers. As far as figures is concerned, though, I didn't really much collect those when I was little, but it was really mostly lightsabers. But definitely for sure, in 2005, I was able to get a helmet. It was a voice changer helmet of Darth Vader, basically, for Revenge of the Sith. And I wore that for Halloween, I will say that next year as well, like '06. Yeah, like 2006, I will say. And yeah, it's a time to be alive, man. And just like, I think since 2019, I will say actually earlier than that. I will say 2017 is when I got into more of a collecting of figures and everything else. Things I wish I could have got when I was little, but I couldn't. One of my friends had it. I even play Star Wars Force Unleashed and everything else. So you can just think about everything when it comes to marketing. I played the games. I had some of the action figures. And I watched every single movie that you can think of with Star Wars at that time. But yeah, I started collecting figures like these. One of the first one was Phantom Menace figures. It was from 2017 when I started getting these. But yeah, but ever since then, man, on my Instagram page, I've been buying more NeoPixel lightsabers, been spinning around a lot, and yeah, dude. It's just that's how I really got hooked up into Star Wars. But it's been with me like my whole
Nice,
entire
man.
life.
Yeah, but then I was kind of same with you. Like, I didn't get into like the collecting until I think around when Force Awakens was coming
Yeah.
out. I mean, I had a few like Star Wars things. I've always loved Star Wars, but like it was the first Star Wars movie to come out in 10 years, and so that kind of reminded why I loved Star Wars so much. And then I started getting more interested in the collecting stuff. And I've actually been working on trying to collect the whole line of the episode 1 figures. So I got my checklist that I've been going through. Hopefully at ICCC this year I'll be able to pick up a few more.
So
Yeah,
far, the
man.
figures
Star Wars.
that I have, I think looking at the box, I think I have like three figures left. So I'm like, I have like a lot. I have like a buttload of them as well. One of my favorite ones is it's a doll figure, which I wish I could just bring about and show it though, but it's in the other room. But it's a portrait edition of Queen Amidala, and it was a. They said it was a 1999 portrait edition one, but it's a really good collector's edition that you get to open it. It tells like a little bit of her story, basically of Padme and who's Queen Amidala, what she does, this and that. Yo, let me tell you, growing up in the 2000s, though, let me tell you, it's like we're like the lucky ones, when it comes to like nostalgia of Star Wars, especially like the prequels and everything else. Because you grew up with the originals, and I remember going to bookstores basically, which you probably saw my Instagram story a while back. They had like an encyclopedia of all those characters, but just at that time, it was only episode 1 through 6. What we have now is like with just about everything. The Kenobi show was added in there, and Force Awakens and everything else, which I'm not really much a fan of the sequels, though. I'm more of George Lucas, right to the prequels and the originals, but I like the shows. I like the Mandalorian and everything else too as well. And I think that's what we're missing the most now. It's just when it comes to marketing materials. Back then, you get to see those on just as an aisle on both sides of the aisle of just Star Wars alone. Whereas now, I think when Disney bought it, basically of Lucasfilm, what you're now seeing is that those marketing materials, you got to go get those at the park. So it's like you got to buy your tickets at the park just so you want to get some of these stuff, or you just go buy online. So that's why I said I love what it was back then. Just these days, it's not the same.
I love Lando. I kind of get sick of seeing like a million Lando Black Series figures just
Yeah.
hogging up eggs at Target or Walmart. Yeah, I miss when Toys R Us or whatever, like just have entire aisles stocked with Star Wars stuff. Now it's like hardly find anything worth getting.
Even those master replicas lightsabers too. It was a Darth Maul one that came out. I think it was like back in '06, I think. But it's like the Darth Maul master replica lightsaber. Lightsabers now these days, you got to put the blade and all that together. But at that time, no, it was all in one box. So it was like 10 feet I will say. It was like a really big box. Then like they all already connect and everything else. You don't have to build or nothing. It's like all ready to go. You just switch the batteries. It's hard to find those now. If you ever find any of those, let me know. It definitely be some. I'm pretty sure on eBay every now and then. But the closest things that you can get right now for those type of labors, which I don't think you meant for a swing around duel with this, more of a standalone, like a collection, basically, and put it on a stand. It's those EFX collectibles, I think.
I need to get some more lightsabers. I just have one from Disney parks. I would love to just have a whole wall of just lightsabers.
Hey man,
But
have like a nice page, man. Do Cam the lightsaber guy or something. Just go-
exactly. So when it comes to like collecting Star Wars, so you mentioned figures and you like lightsabers. So is there like a certain focus that you kind of lean more toward, or do you kind of just collect anything that has Star Wars on it?
That's a good question because for a long time, it's really just figures I lean towards to the most because I feel like those things bring more value. And I know there's some people who collect cards as well. Like you probably see Tony and them, how they get these autograph on those cards and whatnot. I was like, how the hell they did something like that? And it's by Tops,
Yeah.
and Tops, they've always been selling out of Star Wars every single time. So it's like, you got to buy it from third party to be lucky to get any of those. But it's just, if I lean to anything the most, for the very first time it was lightsabers I collect more of. And then I lean more towards figures because I always wanted figures as well. Because back then, if anything, when I was really little, if I did some sort of collection, it's really just lightsabers. The very first one I have was Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, I love Obi-Wan Kenobi's from the Phantom Menace one, and even Episode 3 lightsaber as well. Yeah, I lean more towards if anything, it'd be just figures, but I probably will try. I will try to do cards next to see the collecting cards. I may try to do that, but I think for right now, after figures, which I'm not even close to being done, I'm about to collect Episode 3 ones and Episode 2 as well. Now, of course, the original figures though, they're like kind of hard to like find these days. But I'm gonna definitely be searching more of rare items. But anything cosplay. But I'm gonna try to do collect more cosplay costumes as well.
Tusken Raiders kind of recently just became my new favorite like Star Wars alien, and I have one of the like a Tusken Raider mask that I got from like Walmart. It's like a latex
Mhm.
mask. I would love to just get like a whole like actually good authentic like Tusken Raider costume. Right now I just have the mask. In your Star Wars collection, what do you consider like your holy grail? Like your most valuable thing or your favorite like collectible thing?
Oh, that's a good one. You know what? Damn, I wish I could run the show. But I will say just for right now, for the sake of this conversation, it had to be one of the legendary Funko Pops. And the reason why I said that because well, back at Fan Expo Chicago, when I met Mark Hamill and then Hayden, I had him sign Funko Pops. And the Luke Skywalker one that I really wanted was from the exclusive back in 2017. And now those are rare to find. I mean, even if you're lucky enough to find it, those already been out the box, a little bit damaged, and it's been used as well. But this one was just brand new. It was only one in stock on Amazon. And yeah, it was a 2017 exclusive, and Mark Hamill signed that one. I even put down my Instagram story as well. And then I have Hayden sign the Walgreens one. Now, because I now have Anakin Skywalker and I have Luke Skywalker, Ewan McGregor is going to be at Chicago again this year. I was like, I might as well just finish like the top three: Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Luke. I might as well, since it's all right there. But no, you know what? Here's what I will tell you, actually. So, other than those, I would say the Holy Grail. Here's the most of the Holy Grail, and I'm definitely going to send you a video on this one. But
Oh yeah.
I have a legendary album that you probably saw on my Instagram story or in my highlights as well. I definitely will send it to you. But it's basically all the legends of Star Wars. So like I got Mark Hamill on there, Hayden, Ewan McGregor, Ian McDermott, Anthony Daniels, and then Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I have joint autograph as well. So that's like my I will say my holy grail is basically meeting all these legends from different conventions, and it's all one album now as well. So this year, who I'm going to try to get a sign on that one. I'm going to try to get the Clone Wars cast to sign like 11 by 17 posts to get all of them to sign that one. I'm actually going to have to do some send-ins as well at this point because I met so far well over 17 Star Wars celebrities this past year. So it's like at this point, I'm already at a point now. The only thing that's left, I got to do send-ins. That's just where I'm at right now. So next few weeks, I'm gonna try to get Pedro Pascal if he is not sold out. I'm gonna try to get him to sign 11 by 17 poster that I can add into my album, and also Samuel Jackson as well, who's right now currently doing an autograph for Everest autographs. So I would say definitely my holy grail is those legendary albums of autographs that I have.
I don't normally collect like Funko Pops.
Right.
Right up there, I'll try and point to it. That Funko Pop. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi Funko signed by Ewan McGregor, and I won it from like a giveaway. But so
Great.
that's probably like the most valuable thing I have, like in that whole
Yeah.
cabinet. Is just
Why,
this
dude? That's so
Ewan
awesome.
McGregor
That's what I was
signed
saying.
Funko.
I wasn't not much of a Funko
That's
Pop
one
person
of my
myself. If anything that I have, it was the anything I have was the Black Series. I will say the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which I have Ewan McGregor sign the Obi-Wan, and also the Darth Vader one I have Hayden to sign as well. So that's like part of my holy grail. But yeah, I wasn't really much of a Funko Pop as well. But since I already now have Anakin and Luke, I just have to do Obi-Wan now. So okay, let me just finish this whole
Oh, yeah.
collection right here, then we'll go from there. But at SpaceCon this year is heavily hinted that Ian McDermott may appear there. If he does, I'm gonna get like probably like 3 or 4 autographs. And I had to, because if you kind of think about it, these people are not going to be around that much, you know. And I was also told by one of his agents, not Ian McDermott, but even Anthony Daniels, that he's making a lot of rounds this year because he's about to retire. And probably they think he's going to do it's just Star Wars Celebration. And that again, and I just hate to say it, you know, but like we're talking about 2027, and that's like good 2 full years from now. We don't even know if those guys, which I'm not like, wishing it upon anything, but like, let's just be realistic though. We don't know if they're going to be around. We don't know if Mark is going to be around or Billy D. Williams, especially him, because he's about to be like close to hitting the 90s, you know. He's already going to be at Space Con. As much expensive that he is, I probably get like end up like 2 autographs, I will say. But yeah, he's getting up there that I got to get these signatures, you know, because they're just valuable to me. So I love to collect autographs too, especially from legends. So
Yeah, and to your point, at ICCC last year, I don't know if you know the actor Angus McGinnis. He played, I think it was Red. It was either Red Leader or Gold Leader. I think it was Red Leader, one of
mm,
those from A New Hope. And he was at ICCC last year. I didn't get around to meeting him like I wanted. While he was there, like he seemed totally perfectly healthy. A few months later, he passed away. So it's
wow.
anything can happen. Yeah.
What I'm gonna do next, I've got this book. It's one of the Legends book, but I think they decided to make a combination of talking about Jedi itself, like talking about the rules and the past, and also their code of conduct as well, and how they dress like as a Jedi. So I think it's called the Path of a Jedi. You probably know what I'm referring to. It's that blue book.
Yeah.
That you probably see at Barnes and Nobles. That'll probably be the next
Yeah.
thing I'm gonna have all these Star Wars actors to sign, just in that book, you know. And I know it's gonna be like a
Yeah.
lot of value to it. So hopefully when that time comes, so like especially this year, I got that book and I also got the Sith Rule book, which is by the Legends as well. It's like a red cover, I will say. The very first person I'm gonna make sure
Yeah.
who signs it is Ian McDermott. I was like, he's got to sign that book. Yeah, so
God
yeah.
dang, man, I'm jealous. You've gotten to meet some awesome celebrities. Mark Hamill, yeah, I would love to meet all those guys.
You haven't met Hayden yet? What? Or you
No, but Mark Hamill definitely is like way at the top of my
Dude,
bucket
trust me,
list of celebrities.
I did not at all expect to meet him at all last year, bro. He was not even like in the plans because, well, reason why I just said I did not expect because he was rare because he was at San Francisco. The time he did a convention before that was 6 years before, and it was at New York City Comic Con 2017. That was like his last one, and he took a long hiatus. And I was like, okay, I had to like, he's got to be like up there on my list. And thank goodness, the cause of this man is I get to knock it out, never have to worry about it again. I will say between photo ops and autographs, even doing the father, son, Hayden, and Mark, never happened before. That one, man, I think I spent so far at this for this man at the convention. It was about $3,000 on just Mark stuff alone. It's crazy.
Dang.
It's crazy, but never again. Never again I'll spend that much, but he's once in a lifetime for a reason. That once in a lifetime, man. Shoot.
I mean, you're probably sick of answering these kind of questions, but
Nah,
I'll
man, you
just
good. I
ask
enjoyed this.
anyway.
We had a good conversation.
But
Okay.
I'll just do the huge favorite Star Wars movie and favorite Star Wars show.
Whoa. It's going to be prequel, but I want to say Phantom Menace. I will say that for right now because before I said Revenge of the Sith, but Phantom Menace was like the peak of my childhood because that's where everything I will say started. And it's like how everyone grew up with the original Star Wars, how that was their first Star Wars. This was like my first one, and I love Qui-Gon Jinn as well. He's like a dad to many of us at that time, you know. And Obi-Wan is more like a older brother to us when we look at these characters as well. And it's just like we're seeing the growth development and seeing Anakin Skywalker as a little boy and this and that, how we could probably so much relate to him as well. Like I felt so included in Star Wars and just with the story and just impactful in my life through those series, I will say. But no, definitely, yeah. If there's anything, it'd be prequels, but Phantom Menace is definitely like up there because I guess anybody can say Revenge of the Sith, which I love Revenge of the Sith, but Phantom Menace, oh man, that's like where it started with me. So I definitely love Phantom Menace because I love Darth Maul, and Darth Maul is, I would say, by far, I think he's like my very first Sith. Then of course Darth Vader, of course, but I mean, I remember my brother, he showed me the originals. I thought it was boring as hell. I was like, so what is this? They just stuck in a desert or something like that? And that's just it. And I'm talking about the New Hope because he didn't see no lightsaber fight scenes until near like an hour or so later into the film. And then that's why I got hooked up on it.
Yeah.
And then I love The Empire Strike Back. I love that. And The Return of the Jedi. So, hey, I love the eight. I love the original. They're OG to me. But if anything, nah, is this right here, man? This is what got me started. So I love the pod racing.
Great answer. And then your favorite Star Wars show from like, it can be the Disney Plus stuff. Which one of those do you like the most?
The Obi-Wan Kenobi, because that was a story that was meant to be told of what he has gone through right after Revenge of the Sith. I mean, of course, you can read the books, of what happened to him, what he's been doing, and this and that. But to me, I'm leaning more towards movies and then just reading books. If anything, if I read books or anything like that, it'd be comics that came out way back then. But definitely the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I just love to see the Obi-Wan's development of what he has gone through as well. He experienced, in a sense, of PTSD, all that he has to go through, and just where he's at right now. And then seeing young Leia and seeing young Luke Skywalker and everything else, him and Leia relationship as well. It mentions, not mention, excuse me, but if you think about watching the originals, how she said, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope, It's just that she felt that bond with him, even the original that we probably couldn't see at that time. Because the only thing we saw, she asked for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and she already knew who she referred to. She referred to him. And watching the show, that the connection that they have, and then why I led right to this, it just makes perfect sense. I still demand season 2, though, if you ask me. They need season 2 of the Obi-Wan show. It's more stories, if you ask me.
How popular Ewan McGregor is in Star Wars. Like, I think it was just a huge mistake for Disney to just limit themselves to a meager 6-episode miniseries. I know he's been petitioning for season 2 as well, so hopefully
at some point they're gonna cave in and do it.
more.
I just can't see him not doing it at all. Like I think they're gonna do it at some point. They're just trying to figure like exact timeline.
Money by not doing
it. Exactly right. Because people will be like, "Well, why do we need it though?" Like that. Like, why do we need this and that? And here's the question I will say, because I know I'm just getting started with the show, but why do we need the Rebels? We could just have Andor and then Rogue One, and then we could just call that the Rebels and everything else. Like, really? Like, need that type of gap? Like I said, there's different types of storytelling, though. We have to figure out what is needed and what is not. And I felt like the Obi-Wan show was needed. And I think season 2 would have been something that I think, no doubt, everybody will want as well. And I say everyone because deep down, you have people that say, well, no, we don't need another show. But really deep down, they actually, because why not? See more Ewan McGregor and then maybe Hayden again. But maybe not fighting at the same time, though. Maybe not doing another fight scene. But like we can see a little behind the scenes of what Darth Vader is doing. Maybe have Vader series or something that's connected to Obi-Wan. I don't know. But at least something, right?
The Vader series is my dream. Like, I would love to see a Vader show.
I think the Maul show, in a sense, is, I will say it's a test. Probably if they were to do a Vader series, they want to see how they do with Darth Maul. Because if that was successful and everything else, and it's like no hit or misses, right? Or at least no misses in a sense. If it was like a hit, I really think afterwards they're going to do the Vader series.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because they had to do that with the Ahsoka series. If you think about it, why do you think Dave Filoni had an idea to bring Ahsoka into The Mandalorian? because he's basically added her in as like a test. And now that became a show, the Ahsoka. So, I mean, that's how I'm going to look at it.
If you could have any job or profession in the Star Wars universe, what would it be? I heard this question asked on a podcast I listened to, and I thought that would be fun to try out. It's not a very common one.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Ooh, okay. I thought you said something a little bit different. I was like, I didn't really thought about that one, but no, you're talking about this. If it was a job within the Star Wars universe, I know Jedi Knight. We already know what happened with that, but I can take chances with that career, be a Jedi Knight, if you ask me. But realistically, though, just with the timeline and everything else, I think bounty hunter would probably be the safe bet for me. I would say be a bounty hunter. That's more badass thing if you kind of think about it. So you ain't gonna hear me say that I'm gonna be like some cafeteria man working at a Death Star or some shit. Like I ain't gonna do nothing like that. But
if you could train under any master, whether it be Jedi or Sith, who would it be? If you're an apprentice, either Jedi or if you went dark side, who would you like to train under?
Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn. That'd be the first one. Qui-Gon. Master Qui-Gon. Everybody's gonna say Yoda, but I'll say, okay, let's choose outside of pillars. Either that or no. Better. Mace Windu. Definitely. Definitely. It's either Qui-Gon or Mace Windu. But I'll probably lean more towards Qui-Gon though. But hey, Mace, if it's him, bro, I'll definitely choose him. But if it's Sith, I'm not gonna say Palpatine because Palpatine's an asshole. I'm not gonna say Darth Sidious. Nah, not him. After he treated Anakin and whatnot, he basically tortured him throughout his training and this and that. Nah, I don't need that. No, I'll be trained by someone else. Maybe Darth Maul. Because, with Darth Vader, I mean, everybody's going to say Darth Vader, though. But it's like, with Darth Vader, he's more of a puppet, if you ask me, with Darth Sidious as well. So it's like, I don't need no copycat to have someone how he treated Darth Vader and Darth Vader, how he was treated by Darth Sidious, that he's going to treat that towards me. I don't need that. I was like, no. Give me the training that you will want to teach me from. Don't give me something that your master taught you. Give me something that makes me more better potential than just give me like a copycat type training. But if anything, I would say Darth Maul for this one. Yeah, he's very unique. So, wait, what about you?
I think I would go with Qui-Gon as well, just because I think he's always just so calm and collected. He doesn't get overly agitated. I think he just has a really strong, firm understanding of the Force and his placement in the galaxy. And I think he just is so wise, and so you can learn a lot from him, about the Force. But then he's also just a skilled lightsaber fighter too.
Oh, he definitely is because at times he goes outside the books. Because you can tell the man he goes outside of books because if you watch the Phantom Menace, how Obi-Wan was telling him, "Do not defy the Council again, the Master, not again." Like he said that, he told him that for a reason because he knows Qui-Gon will go out the books that he can to train something like that or go out of the ordinary. He's not for the books, by the books, basically, and follow the law and this and that. If he finds things that's convenient and it's a better path, he'll follow that before he follow the Jedi Order. So that's just how Qui-Gon is, though. And you know what? If you kind of think about it, though, if you watch Attack of the Clones, how he was telling Obi-Wan, too, that if Qui-Gon was still alive, something like that, he would have joined him. And then Obi-Wan's like, no, he will never join you. But at the same time, I think Dooku was right. I think Qui-Gon Jinn, he probably would have maybe not fallen in the sense of a dark side or something like that, but he can see exactly what his master's coming from and then just work in other ways without having to be a Sith, or at least in the sense join the dark side.
Yeah, what if would Qui-Gon, would he have joined Dooku? What would that have led to?
Hey, a little bit of secret thing if you haven't noticed. Let me ask you this though. I always ask everyone what do you think the dual fates mean to you? Duel of Fates. Have you thought about that?
It kind of determined Anakin's fate because Qui-Gon died. He ended up with Obi-Wan, and that set him down that path. But what if Qui-Gon had survived and Anakin had gone with Qui-Gon? He had still turned to the dark side, So I think that whole fight determined Anakin's fate, I guess.
No, that's exactly just about right there. Because if you think about the dual fates, because one writer he said it so perfectly. Because that fight was very important, though. It determines a whole balance and a whole shift of where the story would have been. So if you kind of think about it, Qui-Gon Jinn survived. There would not been an Order 66. Anakin would not have turned to the dark side. or anything like that. So it really just it was the balance of where the story will go on that scene alone. And that's all I can take. It's just that dual fates, that one particular scene would change the whole outcome. And that's just crazy though. Because people would think of other outcomes. What if Anakin has not turned to the dark side and this and that? I was like, okay, well, see, that's like a different type of analysis. But let's go farther than that. Let's just say Qui-Gon Jinn survived. What will happen to Anakin? So that's why I said it's just that fight scene alone. I like how they make movies like this, how they really build it up, and it actually took time for people to understand how it could be just one scene that would have just changed just about the whole everything of Star Wars. And I think it'll be something that is just going to be speculations, and we're just never going to know.
Do you have anything big coming up for you? Any other conventions, or you kind of just laying low for a bit?
I wish it's laying low, but no, I force myself to I gotta go to these conventions before it's too late. And I'm gonna do much as I can this year because in 2026, I'm gonna be very careful on spending in order to prepare for Star Wars Celebration 2027. So that right there, it would have been my it would be my first celebration. My very first one would have been back in 2019, but due to finances and everything else, I couldn't go. But for conventions this year, I'm going to Rebel Scum. I'm going to that one. That's the first start. And then I'm going to Fan Expo Chicago to see Ewan and Hayden again. Then I'm going to Nostalgia Con, which they're having a huge lineup for the Clone Wars. So it's basically, if you're like a huge fan of the Clone Wars, basically that will be your opportunity to get everybody's signature in a sense. So I'm going to these 3 conventions, and get this, they're all back to back every week. So first weekend, Texas, and then another one, Illinois, and then back to Texas again. And then I'm gonna finish off Space Con right back in Texas. So I'll be visiting Texas at least about 3 times this year. So I think out of all the states I've been to, I think Texas will probably be like the most frequent travel I'll be going to within a short period of time. So sometimes you got to travel out.
Got to get out to ICCC sometime. Maybe
I
next
will.
year.
My mom, unfortunately, will be going to surgery at that time, and then since there were some few celebrities going to be there, I was going to tell my mom, "Hey, mom, maybe you should postpone that surgery. That can wait, right?" So
the nice thing about it is it's every year, so it'll be here.
Because I know last year it was a little more focused on Star Wars, while this time around it's more of 90s and 80s vibes. They have a Teenage Mutant oh my god, TMNT. I'll say that. So they're having a huge reunion of that. So that's gonna be something else though too as well. And I think if I understood correctly, I think it'll be their 40th anniversary or 35th. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you though, man, I think that's our first convention, if I can guess correctly, that they got all the TMNT cast. So awesome. But I know you'll have fun.
I'm excited to, Star Wars Gazer, Star Wars Nerd, Tony, they'll all be there. So I'm excited to finally meet them in person. And I've only ever met them through like this video. So
Oh, you ever met Tony in person?
No, and he was at ICCC last year and never ran into him. I was kind of bummed about it.
Oh no, he's a cool guy, man. I met all of them, and it's so unique about us though, and in the close group, because all of us met each other when we all first met Mark Hamill for the first time. So we all met in Chicago last year at Fan Expo Chicago, and then one of them, I think, majority of them was going to be at Rebel Scum as well, and this is going to be our first going to that convention as well. So it's always the first and everything with us, how we just like met. So that's like really unique. Yeah. So yeah, they're awesome, bro. Pop Bounty Collector, Tony and them, Star Wars Theory as well. He's awesome as well, Nia, and yeah.
So where can people find you at? They want to get in touch.
So I am in 2 places. I'm trying to be active on both, but I'm just as active on one on the other. So they can find me on TikTok as well. I'm doing a lot of lightsaber videos and everything like that, and the people that I met at conventions as well. They can find me on there, or I'd be on Instagram as well. Exact same thing. So I also put a little title right here. It says Josiahbrahh. There's no caps, no spaces. I put IG on there because I'm mostly active on there, just as much on TikTok. But I do a lot of lightsaber videos on my stories. I do a lot of gym content as well every now and then. So you guys should definitely check it out, because I got new plans coming up for the next few months. It's going to blow up my content. So hopefully.
Yeah, go give Josiah a follow on Instagram and TikTok. I'm also primarily on Instagram as well, just right here, Cam the Movie Man. You can also find me on TikTok, though I'm not as active on there as I am Instagram and on YouTube. Subscribe as well. Appreciate your support. But thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Josiah, for jumping tuning in for. It's always fun to chat about Star Wars and geek out for a bit.
Yeah, thank you so much, y'all. Yeah, it's great having these conversations. We'll do a lot more of these as well. So.
For sure. Have a good one, guys. May the force be with you. See you guys later.